The Filipino nurse stood with her back against the hospital wall, clutching a brown folder to her chest like a shield, while two police officers pointed fingers inches from her face. "Don't lie to us," one of them snapped. "You're in serious trouble already." The hallway around them was bright and sterile, but the air felt thick. Nurses slowed as they passed, whispering. A doctor halfway down the corridor frowned, but kept walking, not wanting to get involved. To anyone glancing by, it looked like a guilty woman finally getting caught. No one knew that 10 minutes earlier, she had been the one who kept a patient alive. Her name was Leah Santos, 28 years old, a Filipina RN who had been in the United States for just 3 years. She worked nights on the medical surgical floor, the kind of place where everyone was either getting better slowly or getting worse slowly. Leah liked her job. She liked her patients. She didn't like the way some people squinted at her name badge or the way some visitors spoke slower to her, as if she wouldn't understand. But she'd learned to live with it. She told herself, "Just work hard. The care you give will speak louder than your accent ever could." At the start of this particular shift, things had been normal. Charting, medication passes, answering call lights. Room 412's IV pump kept beeping. Room 417's son couldn't figure out the TV. At 9:30 p.m., Leah caught a medication error in a new resident's orders and had it corrected before the patient suffered any harm. Her charge nurse had patted her arm and said, "Good catch, Leah. You probably just saved us a lawsuit." By midnight, Leah was tired, but in that focused way nurses get when adrenaline is the only thing keeping them upright. She checked on Mr. Daniels in 416, who joked about sneaking to the vending machine. She redirected him gently back to bed. She double-counted narcotics with another nurse before drawing up a dose of morphine for a post-op patient. She signed the medication out on the controlled substances log like she did every night. It wasn't until 2 a.m., when the unit suddenly filled with the distant echo of raised voices, that things went sideways. The commotion started at the nurse's station. Leah heard her charge nurse, Megan, arguing with someone from pharmacy about missing vials. "What do you mean 3 are unaccounted for?" Megan hissed. "We reconciled at the start of shift. There's a discrepancy in the Pixis records. We're supposed to report potential diversion. You know that." Leah's stomach tightened. Diversion. The word everyone dreaded. It meant someone might be stealing narcotics. And when that happened, the hospital called the police. Within 20 minutes, 2 uniformed officers were on the unit. Officers Craig and Nolan. They talked with the head nurse, they looked at the Pixis machine, they scrolled through the access log. Leah kept working, heart pounding, trying not to notice every glance in her direction when her name appeared on the screen. She knew how it looked. She'd pulled morphine twice that night, once from Mrs. Hernandez, once from Mr. Klein, both times with proper documentation, both times with another nurse present. But the log just showed badges and times, not context. As she walked out of a patient's room, Megan caught her eye. "Hey Leah," she said quietly, "they might want to ask you some questions. Just answer honestly, okay?" Leah nodded, throat dry. Of course.
She didn't expect them to corner her alone in the hallway. She had just stepped aside to review a chart near the wall when officers Craig and Nolan walked up, blocking her in. Craig, the taller one with a crew cut, jabbed a finger at her clipboard. "Leah Santos?" he asked, even though her badge was visible on her chest. "Yes, sir," she said, hugging the folder closer. "I'm Nurse Leah." "You've accessed the narcotics locker 3 times tonight," he said. "That sound right to you?" "Twice," she corrected softly. "Morphine at 10:12 and 11:47. I signed with another nurse both times." Nolan snorted. "Funny, because pharmacy says we're short 3 vials," he said. "So unless this machine is lying, someone's got sticky fingers." Leah's pulse pounded in her ears. "I followed protocol," she said. "You can ask Nurse Megan. She was with me once. The other time was Tom, the float nurse." Craig leaned in. "We did," he said. "Megan says she was there. The float nurse is off the unit, went home sick an hour ago. Convenient, right?" Leah's shoulders hunched as she tried to make herself smaller against the wall. "Tom was coughing all night. He looked pale. I told him to go home." "Or maybe he told you he was going home, and you two made a nice little deal, split the meds, blame a computer error. I've seen this movie before." Leah's eyes widened. "No," she whispered. "I would never—" Craig cut her off. "Look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way," he said. "The easy way is you tell us what you did with the third vial. The hard way is we treat this like theft of a controlled substance and you leave here in cuffs. You want that on your record? On your immigration status?" The word immigration hit her like a slap. "I'm a permanent resident," she said, voice shaking. I passed all the checks. I pay taxes. I send money home. I'm not a criminal." Nolan shrugged. "Then you got nothing to worry about, right?" he said. "So why do you look so nervous?" "Because two armed men are towering over me," she thought. "Because you're talking about handcuffs in front of my coworkers. Because no matter how many exams I pass, some part of me still believes you can make me disappear with a few words." Aloud, she managed, "I'm nervous because you're threatening my license, my whole future." Craig rolled his eyes. "Look, nobody's threatening anything yet," he said. "We're investigating. Answer the question. Did you remove any medication that you didn't chart?" "No," she said firmly. "Never." Nolan smirked. "You know, I've heard stories," he said, voice dropping in a way that made her skin crawl. "Nurses under stress, working nights, a little something goes missing, helps them get through the shift. You sure you didn't just borrow one dose for yourself? Long shift, right? You guys work crazy hours." Leah's cheeks burned with humiliation. "I don't use drugs. I barely take Tylenol. I drink coffee." "Yeah?" Craig said. "Then you won't mind if we search your locker, your bag, your car. Maybe call your apartment manager, see if this—" "Officer?" The new voice cut through the hallway like a scalpel. Calm, precise, carrying authority in every syllable. Everyone turned. Walking toward them from the nurse's station was a man in a white coat and a tie loosened at the neck. His hair was streaked with gray, his face lined from years of overnight calls and budget meetings. Nurses moved aside as he passed. Even doctors straightened. This was Dr. Kenji Morales, the hospital's medical director.
Before we continue the story, let me know what country you're watching from. Hit the like button if you love this story, and please subscribe if you are new to my channel. Let's continue. Behind him trailed the chief nursing officer and the head of pharmacy, both looking anxious. "Dr. Morales," Megan said, relief flooding her face. "Thank God, there—" He lifted a hand, stopping her. His eyes took in the scene in a fraction of a second. Leah pressed against the wall, officers inches from her, fingers pointed like weapons. The director's jaw tightened. "Officers," he said, stopping in front of them, "I'm Dr. Morales, responsible for this hospital and everyone in it. What exactly are you doing to my nurse?" Craig straightened. "Doctor, we're investigating a possible narcotics diversion," he said. "We have a missing vial and a suspicious access pattern. We're just asking questions." "It looks like more than questions from where I'm standing," Morales said. "How long have you been cornering her in this hallway?" Nolan bristled. "We're allowed to question potential suspects," he said. "We don't need your permission." "No, you don't," Morales agreed, "but you do need to follow basic respect and hospital policy. Our staff have the right to representation during formal questioning. Instead, you have two officers leaning over a young woman at 2 in the morning, implying she's a drug addict in front of her colleagues. That's not an interview. That's intimidation." Craig opened his mouth, then closed it. "We have a log that shows," he started.
A log that pharmacy misread, the pharmacist behind Morales interrupted, sounding both embarrassed and angry. We just reran the count. There is no third missing vial. Nolan blinked. What? The discrepancy was a charting delay, the pharmacist said. The float nurse documented a late waste. The system hadn't synced when you checked it. I told your dispatcher I needed 15 more minutes to verify, but they sent you anyway. Morales fixed his gaze on the officers. So, to summarize, he said, voice razor-sharp now, you came into my hospital, treated my staff like criminals based on incomplete information, and singled out the Filipino night nurse who barely gets a chance to sit down, let alone steal. That's not, Craig began. Isn't it? Morales cut in. Out of everyone on this unit, you went straight for her, not the attending physician, not the charge nurse, not the float nurse who conveniently went home sick. Her, the accent, the one who already has to prove herself twice over to be seen as competent. Leah swallowed hard, feeling exposed. She'd never heard anyone say it that plainly out loud. Look, Nolan said, shifting his weight, we were just doing our job. If she's innocent, great, but we didn't know that. Then maybe you should have started with that assumption, that the woman who just spent 10 minutes resuscitating a patient in 409 might not also be running a side business stealing pain meds. What resuscitation? Craig asked automatically. Megan jumped in. Room 409 had a respiratory arrest at 1:40 a.m. Leah was the first one in the room. She started bagging before the code team even got there. If she hadn't noticed his color change, we'd be talking to a family right now about funeral arrangements. Morales nodded. I was there, he said quietly. I watched her work that bag until the ventilator was in place. Then she went right back to her other patients without a break. That's the suspicious behavior you're harassing. Silence settled over the hallway. The fluorescent lights hummed. Somewhere down the corridor, a monitor beeped steadily.
Craig shifted, his shoulders dropping. Doctor, he said, if the count is corrected, then there's no crime and we're done here. Not quite, Morales said. You may be done, but I'm not. Nurse Santos will have a written statement on your conduct, and I expect your department to follow up. Our staff deserves better than to be threatened with deportation and addiction stereotypes because a computer lagged. Nolan's face flushed. We didn't. Yes, you did, Morales said, and she understood every word. Both officers looked at Leah now. She met their eyes for the first time, still hugging the folder to her chest. I didn't steal anything, she said, voice soft but steady. I love this job. I came here because I wanted to help people. I can handle questions. I can't handle being treated like I'm lying before I open my mouth. Craig's throat worked. The anger on his face had dissolved into something else, uneasy regret, a dawning awareness of how this might look on a body camera review. You're right, he said finally, the words stiff but sincere. We came in too hot. We should have waited for pharmacy to confirm, and we shouldn't have implied what we implied. He glanced at Nolan. That's on us. Nolan looked at Leah, shame flickering across his features. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I was out of line. Leah stared at them for a moment. She thought of her parents back in Manila, proud of her uniform. She thought of the way they'd sound on the phone if she told them she'd almost been arrested for doing her job. I accept your apology, she said, but please remember, there are many nurses like me here. If you treat us like suspects first and witnesses second, you make this place even harder than it already is. Morales nodded. Well said, he murmured. He turned back to the officers. You can find your way out. We have actual emergencies to deal with. As Craig and Nolan retreated toward the elevators, the hallway slowly began to breathe again. Nurses moved, monitors beeped, a transport tech pushed a patient bed past, giving Leah a sympathetic look. Megan touched Leah's arm. Are you okay? She asked. Leah let out a shaky laugh. I've had better nights, but I'm okay. Take 10 minutes, Morales said gently. Go to the break room, drink some water, I'll cover your patients. Her eyes widened. Sir, you don't have to. I do, because tonight you saved a life and got treated like a criminal in the same hour. That's not something anyone should just walk off. Later, when Leah sat alone in the tiny break room, hands wrapped around a lukewarm cup of tea, she replayed everything in her head. The pointed fingers, the word immigration, the way her voice had shaken. But she also remembered the moment the director stepped between her and the officers, the way he'd said, "my nurse," like she belonged there. On her next shift, she found a note taped to her locker. It was on hospital letterhead, signed by Dr. Morales and the chief nursing officer. It read, "Thank you for your excellent care on 4 East. Your quick action and professionalism embody the values of this hospital. We're proud to have you here." There was an official line at the bottom too about ongoing conversations with the police department regarding staff interactions. Leah folded the note carefully and tucked it into her pocket, next to the badge she wore every day. She knew there would still be people who looked past her, who heard her accent before her words, but now she also knew that when someone pointed a finger at her in that hallway, there were people willing to stand beside her and say, "She's ours, she belongs." And that, she realized, was the kind of protection no badge could give, but one hospital, on one long night, had finally learned how to offer.
Thank you for watching to our Badge Injustice stories. If you want to watch more stories like this, click the videos above. See you again tomorrow.